As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am. A past as rich as any can be. My father's worked hard to give this to me. I love this place I come from. To live another way I cannot foresee. As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. As an American, I've been to the peaks of majestic mountains where the air is sweet. I've watched the eagle as it soars in beautiful skies that just can't be ignored. And by this country I'll always stand, for freedom and liberty for every man. When times are hard and things get rough, America always stands ready and rough. As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. Forever American is what I am.
Good evening. Welcome to Real News Live. How you guys doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is having a great night out there. Thank you guys all for being here. Hi Richard. Hi Debbie. Hi BK. Hi Tia. Hi Pam. Hi Nana. Hi Shauna. Hi Suzanne. Hi Pam. Hi, let's see, who else is it? Karen. How you doing tonight? Of course, if you can, please share this out to get us out there as far as possible. Hi Corinne. How you doing tonight? Crazy stuff happening in the world. We could first start out, debt ceiling, abortion ruling, everything Congress has faces questions up until upon the return of Washington. As the House and state lawmakers will face questions on the number of high stakes matters as they return to Washington Monday after their 2-week recess, the looming debt ceiling deadline, and the legal battle over the widely used abortion pill. And of course, the Republican 2024 presidential field will all be dominating the Capitol Hill this week as lawmakers react to news that broke while they were outside of Washington. This week, however, will kick off in New York City on Monday when the House Judicial Committee is holding a field hearing in a violent crime in Manhattan. Let's take this into account. What's happening in Manhattan is a grave disjustice for all of New York. Alvin Briggs, the district attorney there, after deciding not to prosecute a lot of crimes, and of course calling a grand jury to go after and panel to indict Trump for president. I mean, the leaked classified briefings from the White House or from the Pentagon that have rocked the country and rocked the world over. All this is craziness. The sidelines are recovering from medical conditions like Fetterman and Mitch McConnell. Neither one of them should be in Congress. The questions continue about Feinstein's prolonged absence on the House side. Lawmakers are considering a number of pieces of legislation pertaining to China, Russia, DC's policing bill, and transgender athletes. Craziness. The debt ceiling will likely take a central topic of the conversation when lawmakers return to Washington as the summer deadline to raise the borrowing limit inches closer. We only got about a month away from that until we really start feeling the squeeze and people have to realize what's happening. The U.S. is broken. We just don't even know how to do it. Kevin McCarthy is, of course, getting ready to put forward a debt ceiling plan this week that would open up negotiations between him and his congressional Democrats in the White House. The problem is the White House doesn't want to do any cuts to their budget. They want to just increase and keep spending money. I mean, to enact spending cuts is the only way that a budget's going to get passed and the debt ceiling is going to get raised. But Republicans' opponents are being forced in concessions that borrowing the cap has to be dealt with again next year. So if we just keep pushing this borrowing cap one day after another, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Linda, your hat did get shipped out today, so it will be there probably Wednesday. Definitely appreciate those donations as we get them going. Of course, G7 diplomats rejected Chinese and North Korea and Russian aggression. That really means anything. I mean, top diplomats from the group of the 7 wealthiest democracies vowed tough sanctions on China, increasing threats to Taiwan, and North Korea's on-check tested long-range missiles while building momentum on the way to boost support for Ukraine and punish Russia for its invasion. All this is just ridiculous. It's a never-ending problem. The U.S., of course, sailing warships through the Strait of Taiwan following Chinese war games. The USS Millis, of course, sailed through the Taiwan Strait Sunday, which the U.S. Navy described as a routine transit just days after China ended its latest round of war games on the island, which China views Taiwan as its own territory and therefore the Taiwan Strait to be its international waters. So when it's a nation's waterways and we're going through it, acting like it's nothing because we're trying to do exercise around Taiwan to prove that Taiwan is independent, even though they're not. Of course, the Chinese is practicing precision strikes and blockading the island. Stage drills expressed anger at Taiwan's president for meeting with U.S. House Representative Kevin McCarthy. I mean, we're basically interfering with China's internal affairs. I mean, U.S. support for Taiwan's separate identity from China is growing, but this is the problem. We're going in other people's affairs constantly. This is not the only problem. South Korea, of course, and Japan and the U.S. are going to hold drills. And of course, launch missiles because of what North Korea did. So South Korea and the United States and Japan are staging joint naval missile defense exercises today to improve responses to North Korea's threats. Now, what we are doing is trying to provoke somebody to attack us. This is happening on every front. If people aren't paying attention now, there's never going to be a time to pay attention. I mean, this is crazy. We are pushing to try to get to an end game. I was, of course, doing anti-submarine exercises and everything else, and defensive drills, supposedly defensive. I mean, North Korea already tested a new solid-state intercontinental ballistic missile that experts say would be easy for missile launches with little warning. Of course, this is just getting worse. We know North Korea can now reach the U.S. homeland with a nuclear missile with little warning. So it's just one step away. Are we going to keep pushing? Of course we are. Even in the Sudan, as Blinken, of course, said today that there's shared deep concern amongst allies about fighting in Sudan. A view that it should stop immediately and the sides should return to talks. We're involved in so many foreign problems right now. We are waiting for one to just blow up in our faces. Japan is buying Russian oil. Saudi Arabia is buying Russian oil. It's not like a question of who's buying it. The UAE is scooping up Russian oil products at a steep discount. Petroleum-rich Gulf countries are capitalizing on the price cuts coming from Russia, despite U.S. objections. As Russia scours the globe for buyers of energy products, it's finding eager trade partners in unlikely places, including the most oil-rich petrostates in the Persian Gulf. Western sanctions, of course, over the war in Ukraine, cut off Russia from many of its established trade partners, but state companies from Saudi Arabia to United Arab Emirates have stepped in to take advantage of these discounts of products, along with buying products from China. We can't say any of our democracies are doing any better. Look what's happening here. Look what's happening in even Japan. As people are extremists are targeting Japan's prime minister. In Japan, Japanese police have confiscated metal tools, and gunpowder from a home of a man suspected of throwing what was believed to be a homemade pipe bomb at the prime minister in Japan, rekindling worries about the growing threat of easy-to-make weapons in Japan, of course. These homegrown terrorists or people that want to end the government that's there, people don't understand. It just gets worse and worse. We're choking ourselves out of oil, and the whole rest of the world, here's the problem. Saudi Arabia is buying Russian oil now. We buy oil from Saudi Arabia. So they're selling us Russian oil, and they're making a profit on it. It's a joke. And then you got incidents like what's happening in Japan, North Korea, China, everywhere. Everywhere you look, these same issues are coming around. The U.S., of course, is worried about nothing, obviously. They're trying to anger whoever they can first. I mean, the U.S. saying they're demonstrating and committed to freedom and open Indo-Pacific. That's the reason they're in the the military theater over there. The problem is the Chinese military and a lot of other militaries over there are not happy. They're organizing troops. China, of course, changed its draft policy, and we're watching this drastic change in the world of economics. Saudi Arabia now states to take gold-backed currencies from China's new currency to currency in Africa. Even France accepting yen and trading in yen for oil. This is crazy. And yet we're trying to push for a war, obviously. Sailing ships through the Strait of Taiwan, and the situation is already volatile. We know that. I mean, we regularly conduct freedom of navigation exercises in the disputed South China Sea. But sailing near one of the most important man-made and Chinese-controlled islands in the South China Sea, saying Beijing denouncing it as illegal. And of course, the Chinese continue military activities around Taiwan since the drill ended, maybe on a reduced scale, but they plan on closing the airways today, north of Taiwan. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about a Chinese police station in New York. There's an embassy, it's not a police station. Oh, some of the things are crazy though. The G7, of course, these G7, the richest oligarchs, let's call them oligarchs, because that's what they are. They're NATO oligarchs. That's what the G7 is. Let's be honest. The rich people that want to control everything are saying we need to stand up to any coercion from China. It's crazy. I mean, Bangladesh is going to pay off Russia's nuclear plant loan in Chinese currency. This is the way it's happening. The US dollar is losing its world trade currency value. At the same time, we're in a debt ceiling problem. The only way our government can come out of it is to start a war. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing it everywhere we turn now. It's getting ridiculous. It's just getting ridiculous. Every time we turn around, it's more of the same garbage. Never getting better, never getting any easier. Oh. It's just crazy. Yeah, there was two people arrested. Two people in New York. It wasn't an actual police station. It was two people arrested for allegedly trying to operate an illegal Chinese police station in New York. Two people. It wasn't like a full police station. There were two men conspiring. But this is crazy. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready for what's going to happen next. You got to be ready. Because who knows what's going to happen next? Because every time we turn around, we're trying to go against China, going against Russia. Now the biggest oil brokers in the world, OPEC, is buying Russian oil and reselling it at a higher price. That's going to continue to happen. It's not going to go away anytime soon. As people know, that's the way the world works, is everybody's trying to make a buck. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Of course, tomorrow, SpaceX is going to try to launch again. That's becoming another joke. Is when is the federal government going to issue a permit and not try to pull it at the last minute? Literally, we're at a point where I'm concerned about how much longer we have to stay afloat as a country. And I think people really need to take stock in what they have and what they're ready to do. Yeah, there was another derailment in North Dakota. Crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. Get ready, grow your own crops, and be prepared, and just learn how to do it now. That's the way you can be most prepared for what's going to happen next. Because no matter what we say, no matter what we try to do right now, our government is faced with a big issue. The U.S. is faced with a big issue. We've never been, since we became a civilized nation, a nation of laws and men, we've never been like we are before now, where our currency is no longer going to be the world's currency. The value of a dollar is not backed by anything. We're in debt over $32 trillion. And they want to raise the debt ceiling again to spend more money. Meanwhile, they're cutting basic programs like food stamps or not food stamps, but school lunches for kids have been cut. Free lunch programs, done. That's something that should have never been touched. Even 2024, we're in a tough spot to try to recover from now. Problem is, no matter what, the economy has to turn around. And the only way to stop the inflation from happening or going forward at this point is a depression. Whether that's going into Wartime Production Act and going to war, or the country actually fall into a depression, both are pretty much the same thing. You're limited on buying what goods you can buy and how much of what you can buy. Our country's already broke. It's just one thing after another. But be prepared, be ready. Pretty much all I can say about that is be ready, because we don't know what's happening next. Of course, it's not going to be pretty. Wars generate money? No. Wars make it seem like they generate money. But God bless you all. God bless America. And thank you, Linda Taylor, for that $5 donation again. We definitely appreciate those donations. Every dollar counts to families in need, and that's what we're trying to raise money for here. So if you guys can afford to donate, please do. But we lost our man card on the world stage. These are the hats, of course, that are being signed and given away. Every $200 we raise, I will be signing a hat and sending it out. But God bless you guys. God bless America. Stay strong and be prepared. You never know what's going to happen next. All we can do is be ready for when it happens. Till then, stay safe. We will see you guys Wednesday night. Hopefully there'll be some more news. There wasn't much tonight. But God bless you all. Good night.